We begin with America and its guns as President Obama prepares to announce his sweeping plan to curb gun violence tomorrow. Across the country, millions have already rushed out to buy a record number of new
really
guns.
The time, as the country's becoming more chaotic, to disarm the population?
Yeah. So I can't really speak for these people who responded to this poll. I can tell you what Nancy Pelosi is talking about, what House Democrats are talking about, which is background checks.
In ties to Russia, we've talked about Roger Ailes and potential sex scandals at Fox.
We have covered those issues
but I haven't.
extensively.
No, hold on a second. Let me make my point. But why aren't we talking then about Uma and her ties to the Muslim and the Muslim Brotherhood? Why aren't we talking about the fact that she was an editor
she
for a
doesn't have ties to the Muslim Brotherhood.
Newspaper?
It is not
but
the
now
newspaper.
You're peddling in.
It's not.
But then you're peddling in these dishonesties. You're peddling information that I would say is not true, because the information is out there that she does have these ties.
No.
Just like the Bible says, it's basically an intergalactic invasion into this space through people. I'm telling you, it's what all the ancients said, it's what they warned of, it's what we're dealing with. They're demons. They're frickin' interdimensional invaders, okay? I'll just say it, make fun of me all you want on CNN or wherever, but everyone already innately knows this. These people are not frickin' humans, okay? Hillary Clinton is a goddamn demon. Excuse me, taking the word, it's not taking it in vain. She is a demon damned to hell. Excuse me. I said I'd play the Trump speech. I don't even know if I can go to calls now. I'm too upset. Oh, yeah. All I know is what the interdimensional demons over there. Let's say that's an allegory. All I know is they're the same thing. Psychopaths operate. They're not human. I don't like them. And my very humanity just is like, yeah, take them on. Let's want to fight. You're going to get one. You inhuman, soulless pieces of trash. I see you real good. And I know our species is stronger than you and better than you. We're going to beat your ass. Get that through your head. Excuse me. I shouldn't even, let's just go to the Donald Trump speech. Here it is.
The fake media is trying to silence us, but we will not let them. The fake media tried to stop us from going to the White House, but I'm president and they're not.
In recent years, media has transitioned from the go-to for raw journalism based in facts to an assortment of advertisements disguised as news meant to influence our thoughts and actions. In the past, news networks have attracted viewers based on the stories they cover, but now it seems as if they have target demographics in mind when deciding which stories they cover and how they cover them. Bias in news is when the creators of media implement their own opinion into the reporting of facts. The media may distort or omit facts in order to influence the consumer's opinion to be more in line with the creator of the media. Recently, there has been a lot of discussion about fake news, especially relating to partisan politics.
Crazy over Donald Trump. This time.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, not you. Not you. Your organization's terrible. Your organization's terrible. Let's go. You are fake news. Go ahead.
Although sometimes similar, bias and fake news are two very different things created with very different intentions. Biased news is based on fact and created with the intention of swaying opinions. Fake news is not based on fact and is created to lure viewers into clicking on it in order to generate revenue for the source that created it. Another form of media, satirical news, like The Onion or The Clickhole, is different from fake news. Fake news sites create fictitious reports in an effort to deceive others. Satirical news sites post articles with headlines with the intent to entertain viewers. More than ever, people are starting to worry about biased news. Many experts believe that biased news takes advantage of our own cognitive biases to manipulate our opinions. Nowhere is biased media more prevalent than on social media. Getting news from social media is especially dangerous because more than often, we don't actually read the article. Just the title and thumbnail, which when taken at face value can paint a very different picture than reality. Completely unbiased media is unattainable, but it is important for people to be able to recognize how bias affects their news in order to be able to form their own opinions. All the news that you watch and read is biased. Some news is more biased than others, but all news will have unique biases. Some news sources strive to be as neutral as possible, but until robots write our news for us, there will always be somebody's opinion incorporated into the piece. But biased news has always been around, so why is it all of a sudden such a concern?
The media plays a strong role in politics. It provides people with information about events in the world and keeps them informed on what is happening. Many media sources, along with trying to inform people on facts, also try to encourage them to form certain opinions. Different sources might produce media that is supportive or against parties or policies. Since media has such a powerful role in politics, it has led many politicians to fear it, since positive or negative reports on them will seriously help or hurt their political career. Many politicians have openly criticized certain media sources or media in general. Many say that media is harming America and call for the government to be able to censor media. This is causing more people to fear that media bias is interfering with their perception of politics. A 2017 poll from the Pew Research Center shows that 26% supported the idea that the president should have the authority to close news outlets engaged in bad behavior. Republican respondents showed greater disdain for the news media than their Democratic counterparts, with 48% of Republicans and 12% of Democrats agreeing that the news media is the enemy of the American people. These Americans feel that the media is so detrimental to society and politics that they are willing to go to extreme measures to put a stop to it, even if that means allowing the government to be able to censor information. As time goes on, more and more news sources begin to be bought by larger parent companies. Newsweek highlights the fact that 90% of our mainstream media is owned by these 6 major corporations: GE, News Corp, Disney, Viacom, Time Warner, and CBS. Having less companies in the media industry lowers competition, which makes the quality of media go down. There's less pressure or incentive for news outlets to provide reliable, unbiased news if there is not many other options for other people to turn to. People even choose to seek out biased news because they want news that supports their own beliefs. Media outlets know this, which may provide them with a financial incentive to make their news biased. Studies indicate that news media consumers are more likely to choose and trust news sources that reinforce their political beliefs. Some media analysts argue that this behavior provides news outlets with an economic incentive to produce biased reporting. Others contend that the biases of advertisers can motivate a news outlet to produce more moderate programming in the hope of seeking a more diverse audience. The problem of people being manipulated by media bias builds upon itself. Studies show that people who are distrusting of the media in general are more likely to pick 1 or 2 extreme sources that they rely on and only believe information from those sources. By trying to protect themselves from bias, they are limiting their variety of different viewpoints, which actually makes them more prone to bias.
Biased news affects our society because it changes the way that the public forms their opinions by warping their perception of the world. Someone who receives most of their information from biased sources will only be able to perceive events that occur from their perspective that their media supplier has created in order to give them certain opinions. The more biased news the people rely on, the less their opinions are really their own, as opposed to the media outlets' opinions. When reading or watching biased news, it's very important to know that there's probably another outlook on an issue or event they're reporting. Try to find that other outlook and come up with your own opinion with the facts given to you and the opinions that each side has. Many news sources can be very sneaky with their reporting, especially news sources that only market to one side. Many journalists are experts at acting like their own opinions are mainstream, or sometimes even facts. It can sometimes be hard to detect this. The best way to fight back at this is to get news from more than one place. Ethical journalists will give you the facts, not their own opinions. Biased news sources can still be reliable. Many biased news sources are well respected and often trustable. But it is important to acknowledge that biased news sources often change their stories to either help or hurt their side. Many strong biased news sources like Breitbart and BuzzFeed are well known for releasing false information and should not be trusted to the same extent as a source like ABC or NBC. It's okay to read or watch biased news as long as you also see what the other side has to say. If you only get your news from one side, you will not be fully informed about what is happening in your world.
What do I do, Lord? Destroy the child. They're demons. I know your mustache is cool. You got little gold frame glasses. I will go to hell. I'm animated. My heart's big. Start your journey to super male vitality today. I like to fight too. We're gonna stomp your ass in the ground, you little communist piece of trash. I'm a human and I'm coming. Humanity's gonna come together. We know we're under attack. So I never expected Trump charging into a goblin's nest to not get some goblin vomit and slopping blood on him. I want to see him kissing goblins. Spider ghosts are at least 25 years old. They're bashing him because I don't like gay people. I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Take all children at birth and raise them in government dormitories and do medical experiments on them. Break your jaw in seconds. Sandy Hook is a synthetic, completely fake, with actors. I smashed your nose with a blade pole. The Newtown kids, they take them